Hey everybody, welcome back to another Blast from the Past G.I. Joe Classified Edition. And today we're taking a look at Tiger Force Duke and the Tiger Force Ram. And it's given that they just recently revealed and put up for pre-order the Tiger Paw, the Tiger Force Tiger Paw and Wreckage. It seems like a interesting coincidence that I've been heavily dealing with Tiger Force lately. I just did a Flint and an Outback Tiger Force reviews not too long ago, and now we're doing Duke. So a lot of Tiger Force lately, and we just got another Tiger Force vehicle coming, the Tiger Paw, which of course was based on the same vehicle from the original Real American Hero line. The Tiger Ram has never been done before in this color scheme, I don't believe. At least not when I was collecting. They may have done one like way in the future during the modern era, which I guess is technically in the past now, but from my standpoint of when I was collecting, they definitely didn't do the Ram in the original run of a Real American Hero. So if they did do it later, then it wasn't when I was collecting. But we've got another Duke here and another Ram, so we're going to take a look at them. But first we're going to take a look at the box. And as you can see, unlike the last Ram review we did, which was Breaker, this is the plastic-free packaging. And we got a nice artwork of Duke here, blasting through a Cobra Hiss off to the side there in the background. And just roaring forward with the Gatling gun on the side of the Ram, going full bore. And then down here we have a picture of the figure in the vehicle itself. So Duke and Ram, classified series, small parts. This is number 40 in the line. Got some legalese on the bottom. On here we got the file card info for Duke. And there we have another nice artwork. There's Duke, and there he is on his Ram. There's a bunch of Sky Strikers flying off in the background. Actually, those don't really look like Sky Strikers. Those look like fixed wing planes. Sky Strikers' wings can move. So those might be something different. Those are just generic planes, I think. They don't look like anything I've ever seen. But anyway, and here we go on the back. Got a larger view of the photo of the figure that we saw on the front, and here is him again with all his gear and the Ram and what it comes with, and of course the file card stuff and more legalese. So not much to the box. We're not going to waste too much time with the box. All right, so when we did Breaker, we looked at Breaker first and then the Ram, but I think we're going to do the opposite today. We're going to look at the Ram first and then Duke. So here is the Ram. These tires they're not like hard plastic, but they're not rubber either. So they're not very flexible, but they do have like a texture to them that's not similar to the plastic that the rest of the vehicle is made up of. It's like faux rubber, I guess you could call it. Not quite synthetic rubber, I don't think, but it's not quite plastic either. As you can see, the handlebars move the wheel, the front wheel. And you got some gauges on there, all nice painted. Gas cap, the windshield and the cycle there. Got some tampos, a Tiger Force. Got the large mouth and eye there. The tiger stripes on the vehicle look pretty good. Paint job's decent on this, I would say. Tail light, headlight, the exhaust pipes, and the engine, all black with some silver there. You got a wrench here for a toolkit inside, and on the other side, American flag. Don't know what's in there. Probably a med kit. I think that's what it was on the breaker's ram, but I'm not sure. And of course you got peg holes, so you can plug Duke's feet in there to make sure he doesn't go flying. So yeah, the wheels move as I demonstrated during the course of looking this vehicle over. Also the kickstand, yeah. So, I mean, obviously with the sidecar Gatling gun, it'll stand on its own pretty well, but without that, if you take that off, then it'll just fall over unless you use the kickstand. But looking at over this real quick, I just wanted to say that when I got this from Hasbro Pulse UK, the handle part here was snapped off. Now, I messaged him to get a replacement gun, but they wouldn't just send me a replacement gun. I guess they don't have just the parts lying around, which, you know, is expected. They wanted me to send the whole thing back, and they weren't even going to give me a shipping label either. I had to send it back under my own, at my own expense. So I decided, you know what, it's not worth it. I'll just fix it myself. And I glued it back on, and you can see the crack. Yeah, better light there. You can see the crack there, as well as over here. But I think I did a pretty good job. The glue holds pretty nicely. I wouldn't want to put too much stress on it, but for the purpose of just, you know, having it sitting inside the casing here, like I wasn't ever gonna have anybody wielding it anyway. It was always gonna just stay in here attached to the ram, so I wasn't too worried. You know, there's so many people I've talked to who have dealt with Hasbro Pulse US who have had issues with stuff from them. And Hasbro Pulse US just sends them a brand new thing, a brand new item. Doesn't even ask them to send back the broken one, the defective one. So I'm a little disappointed in how Hasbro Pulse UK handled things. They're a little bit stingier, I guess you could say. But I mean, I gave them pictures. You know, I took pictures of the broken piece and sent it to them. So they could have saved both of us a huge hassle if they just taken a Duke that they had there in the warehouse, opened it up, taken the gun out, and sent it to me with a shipping label. I would have been very happy to send this gun back. Or they could have just sent me the box first, you know, with a prepaid shipping label for me to return the broken figure. I mean, what's the worst what I was gonna do? Keep the new one they sent me? That wouldn't have done me any good. They could have just, you know, blacklisted my account and prevented me from ever buying anything from them again. I think I'm gonna risk that for a repaint? Not really. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the glue job I did. It seems to hold pretty well. So crisis averted, more or less. And on to Duke. As you can see, he's identical to the first one we got. Minor, with some paint differences, obviously. He's got the tiger camo pants. Still has those shin guards, unfortunately, which are not glued on straight again. That is a running theme with these stupid frickin' shin guards. I wish they would not use them ever again, because they don't glue them on straight. This isn't as bad as Tiger Force Flints were, but you can see that one's still off center. See, the laces there should be in the middle of that, not to the side. This one over here is a little bit better, but still not even. So yeah, they mess up the shin guards constantly with these guys. He also had the darker shirt than the original release of the Duke, and most importantly, he's got blonde hair now instead of brown. The first release of Duke had brunette hair, so Overlays, as far as overlays go, he has 3. He's got his pistol holster on the side of his leg there. He's got this belt around his waist, which is a extra piece that can come off if you want. And then he has this bandolier across his chest. And it's really loose, but you can pin it in place when you put the backpack on. Now, it looks like that should have been like a hole. At least they should have put a hole through there so you could pin it with the backpack. Of course, that would have looked bad there, but I think I mentioned that in the first Duke review, but that was a long time ago. Seams these days. But just putting the backpack there should keep it in place and keep it from flopping around too much. Duke's doesn't have a whole lot of paint aside from, the tiger stripe pants. He's got a little bit of paint on his badge there. And of course he's got his Joe Pro and the hair wash. Same head sculpt. It's not, I know a lot of people don't like the Duke head sculpt, but I've never had a problem with it. I think it's it's Duke. I mean, it may not look like not the Super 7, but it may not look like the cartoon. I think I was going to say Super 7 because they did do a cartoon accurate version of Duke, but it doesn't look like the cartoon, but you're not really, wasn't really expecting it to. It's a decent looking Duke. He's got the wristwatch on his left arm and just a regular bracelet, or that could just be that's probably just the end of the wrap of his glove on the right wrist. No paint or anything on there. No real markings. Not really anything else. Paint-wise, it does have some red on the collar here and a white undershirt. But yeah, they didn't paint up any of the buttons. As usual. Get used to that, unfortunately. I would love to see, I don't know if Hasbro's ever going to do this, but I would love to see if someone like NECA got the G.I. Joe license. I haven't had good luck with the Super 7 versions of the G.I. Joe characters I've gotten recently. In fact, my Storm Shadow, when he arrived, his arms were backwards like that. So when I went to turn him around, they snapped off. The peg just snapped off right at the bicep cut on both arms. So I had to send that one back for a replacement. Still waiting for that replacement to come back, and hopefully the arms won't snap off on me again. But I just find myself wishing that NECA had shown the initiative to get the G.I. Joe license for 7-inch Sunbow scale, Sunbow accurate figures from Hasbro instead of Super 7. I think NECA would have really done a great job with these figures. They wouldn't have been as articulated as the classified ones, but they would have been just as good as the current ones from Super 7, so I don't think there's much of a difference that would have been lost there, but they would have not only have been cheaper, between 30 and 40 rather than 55, but they also would have had better paint, probably. Like, NECA wouldn't have released them with unpainted faces like Super 7 did with Flint and Lady J in that wave. But anyway, I'm getting off on a non-classified and related tangent here, so let's go over articulation now. Duke, he's got a ball and hinge, and did I not? Okay, yeah, there we go. I was about to say, I might have forgotten to unfreeze that hinge before I started the review, but nope, it's moving. Yeah. So, because he's got the ball and hinge at the top there, he can bury his chin, and he can look. I bent it back too far there, his head popped off. Yeah, there we go. He can look all the way up. So if you want Duke to be a superhero, he can look up while he's flying around. But no, Duke doesn't do that. Duke gets captured a lot. That's what he does in the cartoon. He's always getting captured. Not much of a leader. He runs... Well, I guess, he's first into the battle, so that's good, but he's also first into the Cobra jail cell, so that's not so good. And then Flint has to set up the rescue missions to bail his ass out of jail. Anyway, he can do the Exorcist. He's got a lot of tilt there. Look at all that tilt. Duke looks like he's about to get finished in Mortal Kombat. His arms can go all the way around. He can hit that T-pose. He does have a butterfly joint there, as you can see. He's got the bicep cut. Double jointed, pinned, unfortunately, arms. It says the Duke mold, so no changes here. He's got horizontal swivel on the wrist, and this is really loose. And on his left, he's got the up-down. He's got the ab crunch, and not anything really in the way, so you can get forward that far, and you can go back almost 90 degrees. I wouldn't recommend that in real life, though, unless you're really flexible. And he can twist at the waist, and he's got waist tilt. Not double jointed, but drop down hips. Enables him to get that Van Damme out there. Yeah. His left leg seems to be able to go up more than the right one. I don't know what's stopping the right one from going up all the way. Yeah. Your mileage may vary. He can kick out about that far. And he can kick back about that far. He does have a thigh cut. He's got double jointed pinned knees. He's got a boot cut. The only thing those shin guards are good for is hiding the boot cut. His foot can peg back all the way. He could be a ballerina. Can go forward about that far. Just stop by the shin guard there. He's got that rocker. And the shin guards are loose, so that's good. Allows it to get out of the way if you want to peg up more. And he's got peg holes on the bottom for stands. Accessory-wise, he comes with pretty much everything that the original came with one exception. So first we got his sidearm, which is the standard gun they gave to all the original figures. This doesn't have a peg hole, so no blast effects, and it's just that generic-looking laser gun sidearm that not only do they give the Joes in the early part of the wave, but I think they gave it to some of the villains too. And that goes right in his holster there. He also has the binoculars that the other Duke came with. And these have a very similar feel to the ones that Luke Skywalker used in the first Star Wars movie. And those can peg right onto his belt, right there. He also comes with the same backpack, all in green plastic, except for the shovel, which is done in more of a kind of a darker green, just to contrast between the two colors. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's also green, yeah. So light green backpack, medium green backpack, and a dark green shovel. And that pegs into his back. And yeah, if you peg it in there, it'll keep the belt from flopping around. Or at least keep the bandolier from flopping around. The belt on his waist might still move up a little bit. Alright, and the one difference between the two Dukes is the first one came with a rifle, and this one comes with a submachine gun that looks a lot like the one that came with the original Duke from the 1980s. And this, of course, does have a removable magazine, just like most of the guns in the line do, except for the really early on ones. It's got a peg hole in the front for blast effects. The stock here does not move, unfortunately. It'd be cool if you could slide that in and out, or fold it. But it doesn't move, unfortunately. No articulation on the stock. But it's all just basic black plastic, but there's enough design in there that you can see it if you look up real close. And I think it's cool that we were able to get the retro submachine gun for Duke, like the one that came with his original figure. And I'm actually kind of disappointed that they didn't do the same for the Snow Serpent and Eel retro that they just put up for pre-order not too long ago. I was hoping to get the retro spear gun for the Eel, as well as the... Well, I guess you wouldn't even need the retro AK-47 for the Snow Serpent. You could have just given him the same gun and gave the Cobra Officer. But they went a different route. They gave him Dusty's gun instead. And they gave the Eels the exact same loadout. The only difference is the color of the uniforms and the skin tint. I guess not a whole lot of difference with the retro Eel and Snow Serpent. I think they just wanted to get them out as quickly as possible for people who missed out on them, I guess. But there you go, Duke and the Ram. Next week, we're going to take a break from Tiger Force because we got Python Patrol. And we're going to be taking a look at the Bat, and then the week after that will be the Viper. So our next two blasts from the past will be the first two Python Patrol figures they released, even though they're not the first two I've gone over on this channel. I've already gone over the Trooper and Copperhead at one point. And let's see, and I've also gone over the Televiper and the Flight Pod. So that it leaves just the Officer, the Crimson Guard, and Viper. And then I'll be caught up with the Python Patrol. Unless they release more in the meantime. I'm still waiting for them to release like the Major Blood and Python Patrol. That would be pretty cool. He did come out in the Python Patrol version in the 2000s. Not in the original. The original only had 6. The original run of Real American Hero only had 6 Python Patrols figures: the Crimson Guard, the Trooper, the Officer, the Televiper, the Copperhead, and the Viper. But then they added the Bat, which is brand new to the line. There's never been a Python Patrol Bat before, so that's kind of cool. I hope they do like I said before with one of the other Bat reviews, I hope they do a whole bunch of more different Bat repaints, because Battle Android Troopers are really cool figures. And just the Arctic Bat, what they did with that, with the extra head and the chainsaw arm, that was fantastic. They need to do that more. You know, just not straight up repaints. They need to give us more different things, you know. New head sculpts for the Bats was a good idea. So the only difference between this and the Breaker Ram and the original Duke is just paint and the gun. That's unfortunate. It would have been better. They could have upgraded his sidearm, for instance. Like giving us one with the peg hole in the front. But nope, they gave us the same exact one the original one came with. Oh well, it is what it is. Reuse is the name of the game, and it keeps... I guess you could say it keeps prices down, but I don't know. I honestly don't know how much it costs to make these things. Probably... Well, it's definitely a lot less than they charge. But would reuse really jump the cost that much? I mean, would new tooling for weapons that you could reuse for other figures really jump up the cost that much? I don't know. But I'm not a business major or anything like that. I don't know Hasbro's inner dealings and their penny pinching and their accounting. So I'm not going to speculate on that. That's the Duke and Tiger Force Ram review. Leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below. And I'll see you next time.